Hi guys, Dr. Rob Barrington here with some more nutrition advice. I'd like to talk today about coconuts. What are coconuts? Coconuts are the seed of the fruit of the coconut palm. When you go into a supermarket and you pick up a coconut, you're holding the seed of the fruit. And within that seed, there's obviously a hard outer shell. Within that shell, there is a fibrous material that we call the coconut pulp. And then within that pulp, there is a clear liquid that we call the coconut water. Now, coconuts are unusual amongst nuts in that they're actually composed primarily of saturated fats. Most nuts are actually made of either polyunsaturated or monounsaturated fats, but the coconut contains these saturated fats, and that's unusual. And it's these saturated fats that have given coconut a bad name and have created this myth that coconuts are actually a cause of cardiovascular disease. Now, this dates back to studies that were done on rodents, and rodents were fed coconut oil, and it was found that their cholesterol levels changed. The cholesterol levels became detrimentally altered, and this was taken as evidence that coconut is actually a cause of cardiovascular disease. But these studies were disingenuous for two reasons. Firstly, they used animals, and animals can't directly be compared to humans because their metabolic regulation is different. And secondly, the types of coconut oil that were used were hydrogenated and altered. Subsequent studies that have been done to verify these results have shown that if the coconut oil is not hydrogenated, it's not altered in any way, it does not have this detrimental effect on cholesterol levels. So hydrogenated coconut oil, yes, is detrimental to the health of rodents anyway, but in humans and animals, coconut oil has actually not shown to have these effects. In fact, coconut oil may have the opposite effect. Coconut oil may actually be beneficial to the health. These fatty acids, these saturated fats, are unusual in coconut because they're saturated, but they're also of medium chain length. In particular, there are two medium chain fatty acids in coconuts, lauric acid and capric acid, and these are converted into two substances in the body called monolaurin and monocaprin, and these are actually antiviral, antibacterial compounds. They're actually required as a defense against pathogens in humans, and consuming coconut oil with lauric acid and capric acid increases the amount of this monolaurin and monocaprin that we produce, and actually has immune stimulating effects. So coconut has immune stimulating properties. On top of that, coconut also causes weight loss. Studies have compared coconut oil in the diet with other oils, and those people who consume coconut oil have lower body weights. They put less weight on if they're overfed, or they lose weight if they're on a maintenance calorie diet. And this is interesting because it's to do with the way that these medium chain fatty acids are metabolized. Long chain fatty acids are sent into the circulation through the lymphatic system, and they then in the circulation are then passed sometimes into fat cells, sometimes they go to the liver, but they go through this long process of being absorbed through the lymphatic system, and then they enter into the circulation where they can then go to fat cells and increase the storage of fat into fat cells. However, medium chain fatty acids don't go through this route. They actually are transported straight to the liver, where they're oxidized as energy. So they're a lot more like carbohydrates. They provide very rapid, very short-term increases in energy production, and this means that they're very much less likely to be stored as fat. And they're very useful in athletes for this purpose because they do provide instant energy, but because they're less likely to be stored as fat and more likely to be oxidized, they do actually increase the metabolic rate. And studies have shown that if you feed long-chain fatty acids to humans, the metabolic rate may increase, but if you feed the same amount of these medium-chain fatty acids, the metabolic rate increases by about twice as much. So they do have thermogenic effects, and therefore they are useful in weight loss. And because body weight, an increase in body weight causes an increase in risk in cardiovascular disease, those people who have coconut oil in their diet and have lower body weights are actually at less of a risk of cardiovascular disease than those people who don't consume coconut oil and have higher body weights. So coconut is actually a healthy food. These studies that looked at coconut and assumed that because it contains saturated fat was bad for the cardiovascular system are disingenuous. I don't think they can be taken as any sort of evidence that coconut is bad for the cardiovascular system. And without these studies, there is no other evidence really linking coconut to any kind of detrimental health effects. In fact, ancient medicines all around the world have used coconut in all sorts of ways for all sorts of benefits to improve the health. It's very good used externally on the skin. It has wound healing properties, and it's very good when taken internally. If you're going to incorporate coconut into your diet, and I would recommend that you do, it has some very good health properties. There's two ways you can take it. You can buy the oil, and if you do buy the oil, you need to buy unrefined virgin oil, and that means that the oil hasn't been altered in any way, and the fatty acids will be in the original form that they're found in coconut. The other way, obviously, to enjoy coconut is to actually buy coconuts, buy whole coconuts, break them open, and enjoy the pulp and the coconut water. And it's actually a very nice nut to eat. So there's two ways you can enjoy coconuts, and I do advise that if you can, you incorporate them in a part of a healthy diet. The fatty acids, the medium chain fatty acids from coconuts are extracted, and they are available in supplements, and studies have shown that they are beneficial to athletes as well. They do provide energy, they do increase metabolic rate, and they can be used as part of an athletic program in order to provide energy. And obviously, if you do that, then you are providing something that you probably wouldn't get in the diet, because there is no other real source of these medium chain fatty acids that you would find in a normal diet. So they can be very beneficial. Should you incorporate coconut as part of your healthy diet? Yes, I think you should, but you should incorporate a whole range of nuts. You should incorporate a whole range of fruits and a whole range of vegetables. I've always said this, the trick to a healthy diet is to consume a variety of different foods. Coconuts are one of those foods that should be incorporated as part of a range of different plant foods. But within that range of plant foods, they certainly have a place, and I would recommend that you put them into your diet.